year.
Of course.
Something along those lines.
So my hope is that somebody eventually, like, because people tweet at these guys all the time, like, "Hey, you coming back? You coming back?" And eventually, one of them just like quote tweets it and says yes. Like, I hope that happens one day.
That's a good one.
Or doesn't even quote tweet it, just buries it in the replies, just like
Exactly.
yes. And then you watch all the people like me and Chris and the media people like, is that a real? Do we use this? And so then it's like all the stories are like, Spencer Rattler says he's coming back. Quote, yes.
Yeah, all the aggregators.
Yeah.
Spencer Rattler replies to Instagram posts.
To Gamecock fan 4377178. He back. But either way, however you do it, however you slice it, Gamecocks get good news yesterday, last night. Rattler coming back. Chris, Rattler first arrived on campus almost exactly 1 year ago. Not today, but certainly this month. I was trying to think back of when he actually got here. But would you have thought at the time that this there was a chance of this happening?
You probably would have gone the other direction as far as, like, I think when Spencer Rattler got here, the general vibe is this is probably a one and done situation. Like, that's the most likely. But it was never this is definitely a one and done, because it had kind of a lot of caveats, and it depends on, and it's according to types of things, kind of built in there. And so we knew that, for instance, if South Carolina had a really good season, which, as it turns out, they did, I mean, it didn't win 10 games. It didn't go to Atlanta, anything like that, but they had a good season, especially with how they finished. And if Spencer put up really big numbers, then his draft stock would have probably been so high that it made sense. It would have made sense to go. As it turns out, you know how we'll joke sometimes that, like, it's always the most complicated, scenario possible. It kind of was. It was more complicated because you beat 2 top 10 teams. Spencer stays around for the bowl. He does play his best ball at the end of the year, and he puts up really good numbers. I mean, he ended up throwing for 3,000 yards, 66% completions. But also, the team was inconsistent enough, and he was inconsistent enough to where it wasn't a slam dunk, to where there was a decision to be made. But looking back on it, when it was announced, hey, Spencer Rattler is going to South Carolina, your first inclination is this is more than likely a one-year deal. And you contrast that, Wes, with exactly what you said about Juice Wells. Juice Wells transferred to South Carolina with a lot less fanfare. Most people who paid attention knew, yeah, this is a pretty talented guy who's going to make a big impact. But I don't think anybody thought when we exit the 2022 regular season, Juice Wells' draft stock will be even higher than Spencer Rattler, which is really probably where it is right now.
Well, I think we looked at it and we were saying he has the potential to be the number one receiver. We heard reports out of practice that, hey, he looks like the best guy on the field, but you're looking over there saying Josh Vann is back. He was the number one receiver the year before. And Chris, as we've learned throughout the time covering this sport, what you do in practice doesn't always translate to game days. It doesn't always turn out like that. So I think you knew going in, Juice Wells had an opportunity to be a very successful receiver for South Carolina, to have a really good season. But I don't know if you could have predicted, even as the season went on and he was sort of finding his way into being one of the best receivers in the league, it feels like we didn't start having this conversation until maybe the very end of the year, when he just completely went off on Tennessee and went off on Clemson and really started to make more of a name for himself throughout the conference and even nationally a little bit. Now Juice comes back and, I think probably is one of your top couple of receivers in the league coming back, and we'll be able to build off of that. Not that hype is everything, but it does matter that you already have an expectation and a little bit of a name recognition out there. So, Preston, how much do you think, not that these two decisions were completely, entirely tied together, but now that they are both back, how much does it help Juice that Rattler is back, and how much does it help Rattler that Juice is back, as far as them both trying to meet their personal goals?
Yeah, this is tremendous for both of them. And Juice hinted at this in one of his press conferences or media availability. He basically, with a sly smile, said, it depends on who my quarterback is. And as a quarterback, if you have your number one target coming back. This was basically the internet's definition of who all gonna be there. You know, they're like, who's coming? You going? Maybe, yeah. And then somebody had to actually show up first and like, hey man, I'm here. You gonna come? And Spencer was like, all right, I guess I'll come. I'll end up being there. So yeah, it works benefit for both of them for sure.
Do y'all think, not to open up this can of worms,
Oh boy.
any of these guys that hit the portal, looking at the reaction to Juice and Spence coming back, saying, maybe I hit the portal too quick. No, and I'm not even saying that in terms of like, oh, there's a chance they're coming back or that they would even have an opportunity to come back. I'm just saying, that, you know, that little voice in the back of your head. Did I make the right decision? Completely speculate. I know we have no mind readers in here that I'm aware of, but is Marshawn Lloyd saying, man, that was a quick decision I made because the quarterback and the top receiver are back.
Yeah, he might be. Who knows? But the idea of going into something that's brand new versus something that you already knew could be successful is something that could be, you know, a little unsettling to somebody. It's like, man, this was cool, and I went over here and I'm going to another place and another school and another offense. This is great, a fresh start, but we had something that was really good here, and now I'm not going to be a part of that.
Yeah, and it's probably hard to put like, I mean, I know it's an open-ended question. It's not like a blanket statement, but it's hard to say. You kind of got to go individually. Like I look at Jaheim Bell, right? I mean, grew up close to where he's going to end up going, Florida State. Obviously had for him a very frustrating year, especially at the beginning. I mean, our 2022 season in the early part of it was completely dominated week to week by why isn't Jaheim Bell getting the ball, and how is he going to get the ball, and what position does he play, and all these different things. And so for him, you know, even though, I mean, look, I was looking back at some pictures the other day, and him and Shane Beamer hugging it up after the Clemson game and all those types of things. So I'm certain there's aspects that those guys will miss, but I think a lot of them made decisions that they thought were best. Marshawn, you know, is an interesting one because we know that he left really because of the opportunity to go be more featured somewhere else was a big part of it. Well, he was, you know, pretty featured here. He was he was the starting running back. So, you know, if you go out, what if you go out to Southern Cal and it doesn't quite go how you think it's going to go? So then you're trading in a starting SEC job with some of your guys back, as you said, Wes, for, I don't know. I mean, maybe you get 3 more carries a game. Maybe you don't. What if you get 3 less? Mm-hmm. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, I don't want to make this segment all about that, but I couldn't help but think. And Marshawn was the first guy that popped in my head because he commented on Spencer, you know, that all the guys hype each other, throw the fire emojis on there. He commented on Spencer's tweet last night and basically, you know, was excited for him. And there was that part of me that couldn't help but think, is he wishing he had ran it back as well? Because you'd be talking about, you can play the what if game in sports all the time, but you would be talking about having your top quarterback, your leading running back, and your leading receiver all coming back. And there's not a ton of teams, I would imagine, in college football that can say that. So you'd be saying, you know, you've lost some guys, but you're bringing back your core on offense. As it stands, they will, of course, get back Rattler and get back Juice Wells. And we're going to continue to talk about the impact that's going to have on this offense and maybe dive in a little bit to what Dow Loggins might be thinking today as he lands what he said was the biggest recruit since his wife. So we'll talk about that and more on the other side.
The Early Game with Bill Gunter and Jen Jensen.
You know, you look at the way they recruit and you can kind of make your mark. Hello?
No, I was listening. I was listening to Red's take on the whole situation. Exactly. That was a very spirit. Either Red completely disagreed with you or was behind you cheering. That's my dad. That's a great point, Dad. You keep making that point.
He's gotten bad, man. He's like, he follows me outside and then he wants a treat. and he barks until I give him a treat. And half the time he keeps barking. So I don't know.
It sounds like working with Bill first thing every morning.
It is kind of. I really bother Jen until I get a treat each and every morning. So
He begs a lot.
On your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
This is Damon Amendolara with your CBS Sports Minute. Jerry Jones can defiantly say that Mike McCarthy will not lose his job based on Monday night. Even if the Cowboys lose to the Bucs, Jones is keeping McCarthy. But do we believe him? The Cowboys have won double-digit games the last 2 years, gotten to the playoffs. But one and dones, they're not enough in Dallas. Jerry is Sean Payton out there. This isn't over. This is Damon Amendolara.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is something called Testofen, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text JUDGE to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text JUDGE to 321-321. That's JUDGE to 321-321.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
At the Samuels Reynolds Law Firm, we know how serious injuries change people's lives. I'm Jason Reynolds. When you're involved in a major car or truck accident, my team is on your side. You don't have to be alone. Let's do this together.
And I'm Stephen Samuels. When you're hurt at work, my team is with you from start to finish. We're people with a passion for helping injured workers. Bring your case to us and stop the worrying. We've got this.
Samuels Reynolds. True injuries, true lawyers. 803-779-4000.
When your business information is missing or inconsistent across the internet, search engines won't find you, and customers won't either. Help ensure customers see you and not your competitors. Boost your findability. CumulusBoost.com. CUMULUS Boost.com.
It's game day at Jim's house, and the spread is impressive.
Mike's already done some damage with the hot wings, and now he's dropping back and going deep for another slice of pizza.
I sure hope he brought the Pepto.
Mike knows that Pepto-Bismol provides fast 5-symptom relief from unexpected stomach upsets. He's no rookie.
The way he's throwing back those nachos, he's the GOAT.
Be ready for game day with Pepto-Bismol.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
What's for dinner? Burgers?
After last week, no thanks.
Avoiding foods due to fear of diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools? It may not be just stomach issues. It could be EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. EPI can cause uncomfortable symptoms because it's a condition where the pancreas doesn't release enough digestive enzymes to break down food. But EPI can be managed. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor about your symptoms. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hey, who wants to make a resolution they can keep? Let's resolve to eat better pizza. Come on, you can do it with the Mellow Mushroom Pizza Bakers. Let's start slow with the crust. We'll hand toss that spring water dough just for you. Then add the freshest ingredients and serve it hot. Now, lift it, you're doing it. It's a change of pizza lifestyle. Happy New You from the Mellow Mushroom in the Vista and on Sunset in Lexington.
I'm starting the new year by making my home feel like new with the advanced cleaning of Zerorez. Take advantage of their New Year sale. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $119. And when you mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game, you'll get a hallway cleaned for free. Schedule online at ZerorezColumbia.com.
If you're thinking about retiring soon, be sure to tune in to Save Your Retirement with Pat Struby of Preservation Specialists. Join Pat as he talks about the latest trends and headlines that could impact your retirement. Don't go into retirement unprepared. Listen each Sunday morning at 10 to Save Your Retirement with Pat Struby of Preservation Specialists. Firm offers insurance services. Investment advisory services offered through Kalos Capital Incorporated.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game. Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. It's the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour, presented by Firehouse Subs. Founded by firemen, with Chris Clark and Wes Mitchell on the home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
GC Takeover Hour, segment number 2. Preston, Chris, and Wes here. This show is, as always, brought to you by Firehouse Subs. And coming up on Friday, Chris, we're going to be at Firehouse Subs. And we're going to have a special guest as well. There's also a sub of the day on Friday. There's a sub of the day today. There's a sub of the day every single day. What are we having today and what are we having on Friday, man?
I was going to say I wasn't going to tell them Fridays yet, that they have to come out to listen to the show or come out to Firehouse Subs on Forest Drive. That's the 3250 Forest Drive location, by the way. We will be there, West, from 9 to noon with an extended edition of Gamecock Central Takeover Hours, hours, on Friday. And from 10 to noon, we will be joined by Gamecock's defensive tackle, Boogie Huntley. Excited about that. He'll be jumping on to do some segments with us. You can come out there and meet him, chat with him, probably get your picture taken, whatever you want to do with Boogie from 10 to noon. Again, that's 3250 Forest Drive, Firehouse Subs on this Friday. At today's sub of the day, Wes, if you can't wait until Friday to go get yourself a Firehouse sub, the sub of the day is the New York Steamer. It is outstanding. $5.99 for a small, $7.99 for a medium. You can get that at Forest Drive's location, or you can get it at any of the 14 Midlands locations of Firehouse Subs.
Definitely, again, appreciate Firehouse Subs being our presenting sponsor here of the GC Takeover Hour. Come out, see us on Friday. Guys, I continue to talk about the impact of Spencer Rattler's return. If you're Dow Loggins, you don't bring back everybody, but you bring back 2 very important pieces. You bring back a couple of guys who already have a really good feel for each other, a chemistry, if you will, a connection. And then you have some pieces around them as well. I think you looked coming into this season or late in this season, if you really started looking ahead, you probably saw, wow, lose this offensive lineman, lose this offensive lineman, lose that guy. Now you kind of look, they were able to get some guys some experience. You bring Jalen Nichols back. You bring Ja'Kai Moore back. You do lose Javon Gwynn as expected. Probably the biggest loss, I think, on the offensive line. But you got Vershawn Lee back. You got Tyshawn Wanamaker. You bring in a couple transfers. Then at receiver, you bring back a guy in Leggett who potentially, could take that next step. You bring back DeCarrion Joyner, Amarian Brown. You have some pieces to work with. But obviously, it starts with the quarterback. Dow Loggins has said from the very beginning, I want to be a quarterback-friendly offense. I want to build around what my quarterback can do. So if you're Loggins and you're in the lab today, you got your QB back. Well, what are you thinking as you start to build this thing out?
Well, I mean, that's the starting point, is the quarterback. It would be the worst possible scenario for Loggins if, like, the entire offense in terms of skill position guys and those, some key offensive linemen. I mean, 3 defections, including Javon Gwynn, who was one of your absolutely team leaders and your best offensive lineman. If you had lost all the entire tight end room and Marshawn Lloyd and Juice Wells and Spencer Rattler, you're not feeling so hot, right? And as we know, offensive coordinators in college football, they come under fire a lot. First 3 and out of the season, you're going to get booed. If you have many 3 and outs, you will get more than booed. And so that you'd be walking into a tough situation. So to have your trigger man back, somebody that you can build around, is huge. To have his top target back is huge. Are there still concerns? Sure. For instance, I would imagine the staff doesn't feel wonderful about the running back position. And that's something you got to look at. But to have Rattler back, to have Wells back, to have some tight ends, Wes, out of the transfer portal, potentially out of the freshman class that you can work with, is also a good thing. One of those guys, of course, Dow Loggins is very familiar with, and Trey Knox. He was his position coach at Arkansas. But everything starts at the quarterback position. It's the most important position, not only probably on the offense, but probably just on the team in general. And to have a guy with Rattler's ability is certainly something that Loggins would feel like he could build around.
Yeah, in general, when we've seen instability in Gamecock program, has been for lack of having a steady quarterback. Has it been back to Jake Bentley when when we've had a repeating quarterback or a quarterback coming back.
I
Even that was only 2 years, right?
Well, that would have been 3.
That was 3. Okay,
3 years in a row.
I just think about the stability of having somebody coming back. Even obviously Spencer turned it around towards the end of the season, but he struggled early in the year, and I imagine that was part of some of the decisions to come back. But just having somebody that's familiar with the team and how the team is going to operate, obviously it's going to be a new offense, but just having somebody that's a little bit more familiar with the team and being able to hold that dynamic, you always want that out of your quarterback and starting the season.
Without us being inside the walls of the ops building over there. So again, I don't know if this is necessarily insight specifically on this, but we can go general here. I wonder how much more situated you would say Rattler is now to go be a leader in that locker room versus when he got here a year ago, because we were told by several people back then that he really had made a concerted effort to just sort of put his head down and go to work when he got here. Some very I would say what's the word? He knew who he was coming in. He knew how big his name was. He had self-awareness about what it meant for him to come to South Carolina, and I think he took it upon himself not to come in and be the larger-than-life guy that his name sort of carried, and sort of just put his head down and tried to earn the respect of his teammates, which I think...
Which is a great move.
I think it went very well, and I think you got to respect that.
Yeah, I mean, just the idea of your quarterback knowing where things are. Hey, Spencer, where do I go to get my nutrition shake? Or who do I need to talk to about who's the best person that tapes ankles on the training staff? Or that person, they tape too tight. Or I don't know, whatever the things are, he can answer some of these questions. When before he was just like, hey, man, I'm just here like you. I don't know. I'm just going to I'm just throwing the ball, I guess. I don't know. So just to have somebody who's familiar with the program and how it operates is those are obviously that's not a stat sheet thing, but that registers for sure.
Yeah, I got to think that's gonna having both those guys back. I think we talked about it yesterday. Juice as well as kind of a tone setter, a guy that again he was brand new this time last year as well, getting settled in. Now they both come back as core pieces. I think not just on your offense, but in your locker room. And we talk about these cliches with quarterbacks all the time, and he can make all the throws, arm talent, all this stuff. But, I mean, that stuff does matter. And when you look at Rattler, the key this year clearly is going to be to try to find that consistency that he's been searching for. But, Preston, from a defensive mindset, if you're on the other sideline, if you're lining up against these guys, if you're a defensive coordinator going into a game, how much does it affect things playing against a QB that maybe you almost feel like, all right, we don't have to worry about this, and this because he's not necessarily capable of making that throw as a quarterback versus maybe going up against a guy and an offensive coordinator who now has everything potentially within his repertoire?
Most quarterbacks can't make all the throws. And so a lot of defensive coordinators, a lot of defenses are built on bringing pressures from the hashes, essentially abandoning a side of the field, a third of the field, because you're not worried about a quarterback being there or being able to make a throw there. Sometimes defenses may just elect to play 8 in the box because I don't think the quarterback has the arm to take it over the top and my free safety can get underneath it. And you're not going to have any of those options with Spencer as the quarterback because he can make all the throws. It's very similar to, as you were saying, if his arm presents some of the same problems that a quarterback with legs presents. And whereas you have to just pick your spots to defend, but his arm won't allow you to neglect any parts of the field. He can make throws downfield, the sideways throws, the intermediate is what he's going to probably have to work on the most, but he knows he has the strength to do that.
And something I think you can see in Rattler is it forces the defense to cover until the whistle blows. You don't, because of his, it's not like he's the most mobile guy in the world, but he has a knack for escaping the pocket. And I mean, go back to that Notre Dame throw, that he made. there are not many guys even on really, really good, like college football playoff teams that can make that throw. And so that's the throw. Okay, we got him hemmed in. No, you don't. Here comes the ball. And so even some of his amazing throws that didn't hit this year, you can just see it. And so if you can kind of harness that and become a little bit more consistent and then make, less mistakes just in terms of reads and things like that. Like we saw in the Clemson game. I mean, played a great game, had a couple really poor decisions. You eliminate those, then you've really got something.
I've said it over and over again. Zach Wilson made that throw in his shorts during pro day and convinced the Jets to pick him number 1, I think. Oh, something like that. I will go on record as saying that Spencer Rattler is better than Zach Wilson. Period. Point blank. However you want to slice it. Does that mean he's good? I don't know, because I don't think Zach Wilson's very good either. But he's an NFL guy who has the capabilities to make any throws that people would want in the NFL.
Yeah, and I dare say there's a lot of quarterbacks who don't even attempt that throw.
Very true.
In that situation, we're of course talking about the one to Leggett. That Leggett, the other end of that play as well. Leggett making a just incredible play and flashing. That's the guy, y'all, that I've been waiting for at least 2 off seasons because you see the flashes. I would love for Leggett to be able to just put it all together going into next year and have that big season that I think he's capable of, because we've seen flashes and the athleticism, the size, speed, all that is off the charts. But talk about that, and we're going to talk about what it was a massive, unexpected, I would say, yes, South Carolina men's basketball win at Rupp last night. Lamont Paris getting his first SEC victory as a Gamecock coach. And, of course, South Carolina bouncing back from what was an embarrassing loss to Tennessee at home. That means something, that says something. We'll talk about that and more on the other side.
It's the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour, presented by Firehouse Subs. Founded by firemen, with Chris Clark and Wes Mitchell on the home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stopped, opt out. Go to nomoredraftywindows.com for full offer details.
Attention all homeowners. Do you know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? It's time to replace. Fog between the glass? Time to replace. Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's definitely time to replace. If you've put off replacing windows in your home because it's too expensive, here's great news. You can now get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen, the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading full-service window replacement companies. And right now, you can save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. Just text RENEW to 200-300 for your free consultation on top-quality affordable windows or patio doors for $0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for a year. That's right, you don't pay a dime for an entire year. Plus, save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings end this month. Text RENEW to 200-300 right now. Text the word RENEW to 200-300. Don't wait, text RENEW to 200-300.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now, but I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code WIN for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code WIN for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code WIN.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
It's that time of year, a time for reflection and appreciation, a time of goodness, thankfulness, and togetherness. The sights and sounds that fill our hearts with warmth and remind us of who we really are and what is truly important. This really is the most wonderful time of the year. At Love Chevrolet, there's no better time to say thank you to you, our valued customer, for always being there. Things are good and only getting better. Love has more new Chevys on the lot than any other dealer in the Midlands, and we're ordering new vehicles every day. As always, there are no add-ons or markups at Love Chevrolet, and nothing but utmost integrity in everything we do. After all, buying a vehicle should be fun. At Love Chevy, we're proud to be your trusted family-owned dealership since 1961 and South Carolina's #1 volume Chevy dealer. Happy holidays from the Love family to you and yours. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Find new roads.
That's the power of love. Love Chevy.
107.5 The Game hits the road. Join Chris Clark and Wes Mitchell at Firehouse Subs, 3250 Forest Drive this Friday from 9 to noon for all things Gamecocks. Plus, stop by for a special appearance by Gamecock defensive tackle Boogie Huntley, who will be on site from 10 to noon. That's this Friday at Firehouse Subs, 3250 Forest Drive from 9 to noon with Boogie Huntley hanging out from 10 to noon on your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
It's the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour, presented by Firehouse Subs. Founded by firemen, with Chris Clark and Wes Mitchell on the home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
South Carolina men's basketball getting a massive win at Kentucky last night. Chris, not your typical Kentucky team so far this year, but I dare say that does not matter. I don't think that matters one bit, actually. If you're South Carolina, for one, winning at Rupp always matters. That carries weight. And when you sort of balance it out with what we saw from South Carolina their last time out, a Tennessee team that, don't get me wrong, is really good, really talented, and they've got a good thing going. But man, the way that game went for South Carolina, to get just blown out on your home court and starting to have the questions about, what was going on with G.G. Jackson. Lamont Paris basically, and I'm paraphrasing here, not quoting, put it all out there. There was no, just no comment. There was no
coach's decision.
Yeah, I felt like challenged G.G. Jackson and said, look, I didn't play him as much because I didn't like the body language. I didn't like what I was seeing. I think to pull that off as a coach, you have to have a relationship with your players and you have to understand your players. You don't want your guy to go into a shell. Not that I really thought G.G. Jackson would, because this kid is mature beyond his years. And everybody that's ever walked the planet has had an off day. So to me, it's how do you respond? And I saw a South Carolina team and a South Carolina player, of course, in G.G. Jackson, who responded exactly the way you would hope if you're a South Carolina fan. And I also saw Michi Johnson just go off on Kentucky. But how about a massive win for those guys, man? And just to you had people starting to talk like, hey, is this team going to win an SEC game? They had a bunch of chances at Vanderbilt, which was a very winnable game for them. Let it slip through. To go out there, respond, play the way they did, hold on at the end, make some clutch free throws. kudos to all those guys, and I know they've got to be feeling a little bit of momentum, a little extra pep in their step, the way they responded last night.
And Kentucky, 28-game home winning streak, crazy. They haven't been an amazing team this year, overall. That prompted a lot of conversation in Lexington. Big picture about John Calipari, but to take it back to South Carolina, huge win. Michi career high, 26 points, 6 assists, 6 for 10. West from 3. Michi Johnson would pull up from the opposite free throw line. Doesn't care. Like he'll just pull up from anywhere. Played with a lot of confidence. GG Jackson. That's a great point you made about how Lamont Paris handled him, because obviously he responded. And if you watch Gigi's body language in this game, it was great. He was engaged. He played well. Colin Taylor from GamecockCentral.com, Wes, our colleague, has a great piece up right now. I'd encourage everybody to go read it. It's called More Perspective on South Carolina's Big Win over Kentucky. The amount of statistical analysis in here, there's a lot in here. But before Tuesday night, this is according to Colin, 2-27 against the Wildcats before last night. Hadn't won there in the last 8 tries. Average margin of defeat, 24 points. Slimmest margin of defeat, 15 points. So, last win came in 2009. So, to your point, not easy, regardless of circumstances, to go up there and win. So, all the feelings that were had about the basketball program and the way they've been playing lately, the horrible loss to Tennessee at home, replaced jubilation last night. It was a great win for them.
And I think, again, man, the reaction as far as body language for GG and just, I even look at the body language and how these guys interact with each other. You're talking about a team that is almost entirely comprised of people who were not playing together last year. And you got Hayden Brown, who is like our age, GG, who's supposed to be in high school. And, you can tell these guys care for each other, love each other, have come together. And, I think regardless of what happens this season on the court, there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs. You can tell these guys are kind of starting to come together. And with Michi, man, you saw why he was a 4-star guy out of high school. And he entered Ohio State as a very highly valued recruit and dealt with some injuries, had some stuff go against him, and was just kind of looking for, his comfort level. And I think you're starting to see that at South Carolina, and a guy that when he goes off, he can score with the best. Like you said, never saw a 3 he didn't like, but when it's going down, hit it right off the top. Like to start the game, Carolina had the best start you could possibly think, and they just rode that wave the rest of the way.
Wire to wire. And just constantly made big plays. Kentucky obviously missed some shots. South Carolina made some mistakes down the stretch. For instance, Michi, as great of a game as he had, he drops the ball on the inbounds, kind of just hits him in the breadbasket, goes out of bounds. Kentucky gets another chance, but he responded just over and over. And so his shooting, his ability to shoot the ball, his confidence, his short memory, those things all serve South Carolina well when it's going down. They had obviously a really nice game from GG Jackson. Trying to look at this stat. 16 points as a freshman, first game ever at Rupp. That's the most by a South Carolina freshman against the Wildcats since Michael Carrera scored 25 against Colin Taylor West. So 55% from 3 on 20 attempts. If you do that, you're going to have a chance to be in the game, And so, look, the reality is, that's kind of tough to recreate. 55% on 3 in conference play is going to be difficult, but this team showed last night that they have capability to go out and steal a win against a quality team.
Next up on the schedule, Chris, Saturday, this week, 6:00, A&M at home for South Carolina. You would think, and I kind of, I think at this point, have a feel for how this fan base reacts to things. A Saturday night game, a lot of people be off work. You're starting to, there's no more college football. Hit the, we need a button for crying or something, but no more college football. That's when Gamecock fans start to tune in a little bit more to men's basketball. And I think also they had started to tune out already just with the way the season was going. But I would expect there to be a solid crowd on Saturday against A&M. And I hope there will be, man, because I think you want those guys to sort of feel a little bit of extra love after that game. And who knows, man, maybe not that they're going to, compete for the league or anything, but maybe they can find some momentum as this conference schedule continues.
Well, I mean, you look after Vanderbilt, you kind of blow your chance to be able to win that game. One of your more winnable opportunities, you get completely blown out by Tennessee. And what was the conversation after that, Wes? Well, can this team find a league win? And they found one, and one that, as we just laid out, is pretty difficult to do. Now, that doesn't mean they're going on some run. They may not play well at all against A&M. We will see, but I think it did give some hope, and I think it was a really big morale win, aside from just an actual win, a morale win for this team and for this fan base, which I think is important.
All right, y'all, we got to take a break. We'll be right back on the other side.
It's the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour, presented by Firehouse Subs. Founded by firemen, with Chris Clark and Wes Mitchell on the home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
Hey, Gamecock Nation. Ben Cato and Matt Stedman from Cato's Power Equipment.
We are proud to be your family-owned dealership since 1984 for Aaron's, Gravely, Oro, and Steel Power Equipment. Come visit our showroom at 4012 West Beltline Boulevard, located right outside of downtown.
We're proud to serve Columbia's landscapers, municipalities, and of course our everyday grass cutters trying to one-up their neighbor. We can't wait to help maximize your mowing experience. Give us a call at 803-254-3711.
Camden Military Academy. It's probably not what you think. Hear now from a cadet's mom.
Andrew totally failed 7th grade. And when he came to Camden, now he's A and B student. He's doing very well. So for me, as a parent, I will tell you, be open-minded. Check it out yourself. Do your research, because I did mine. I sent a boy to Camden Academy, and I got back a wonderful child with leadership.
To learn more, visit CamdenMilitary.com.
My friends at the South Carolina Forestry Commission want your help in canceling wildfires this year.
Or at least the ones caused by humans, which are about 90% of all wildfires.
Negligent but avoidable behaviors like careless outdoor debris burning,
lax campfire safety, and improper vehicle and equipment use
are the leading causes of wildfires in South Carolina.
Please think before you burn outdoors or operate spark-producing equipment. Let's cancel wildfires, South Carolina.
Sponsored by the South Carolina Forestry Commission, the South Carolina Broadcasters Association, and this station.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or play. Stop, opt out. Go to nomoredraftywindows.com for full offer details.
Attention all homeowners. Do you know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? It's time to replace. Fog between the glass. Time to replace. Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's definitely time to replace. If you've put off replacing windows in your home because it's too expensive, here's great news. You can now get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen, the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading full-service window replacement companies. And right now, you can save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. Just text RENEW to 200-300 for your free consultation on top-quality affordable windows or patio doors for $0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for a year. That's right, you don't pay a dime for an entire year. Plus, save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings end this month. Text RENEW to 200-300 right now. Text the word RENEW to 200-300. Don't wait. Text RENEW to 200-300.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-306-8158 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-306-8158. That's 800-306-8158. What do you have to lose? Call 800-306-8158. Again, 800-306-8158.
Wow, 2022 flew by, but I sure am ready for 2023. My favorite way to start the new year is to make my home feel like new with Zerorez carpet and air duct cleaning. Only Zerorez uses the advanced, patented process with ZR water for superior, long-lasting clean. Right now, get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $119 plus. Mention me, Bill Gunner, at 1075 The Game, and you'll get a hallway cleaned for free. Easily schedule your cleaning online at ZerorezColumbia.com.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 1075 The Game. Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. It's the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour, presented by Firehouse Subs. Founded by firemen, with Chris Clark and Wes Mitchell on the home of the Gamecocks. 1075 The Game.
Some breaking, but not South Carolina, but obviously great news coming out. If you missed it in the last 23 minutes, the Buffalo Bills putting out a statement saying Damar Hamlin has been discharged from Buffalo General Medical Center. Hamlin, of course, was admitted on Monday, went through a comprehensive medical evaluation, a series of tests on Tuesday, and then let's see, Jamie Nadler, MD, critical care physician and chief quality officer there at the hospital, said that they have completed a series of tests and evaluations, and in a consultation with team physicians, we are confident that Damar can be safely discharged to continue his rehab at home and with the Bills. So obviously some massive news there, some great news that I know everybody out there was hoping for and praying for throughout the last week or so. We continue to wish Damar Hamlin well. We're almost out of time here. One final segment here on the GC Takeover Hour before we turn it over. And Chris, we of course open the show with the news of Spencer Rattler returning. We're going to close it out with that as well. But everybody had their eyes on Spencer Rattler's decision. One big-time 5-star target that South Carolina fans love to talk about. He let it be known with one character on Twitter yesterday that he was watching as well.
He did have his eyes on it. The Twitter eyeballs emoji. Nicholas Harbor, #1 ranked athlete in the country according to the On3 consensus, which of course, I feel like we're giving this disclaimer a lot, Wes. The On3 consensus, an average of all 4 major recruiting services, has Nicholas Harbor as a 5-star prospect, the #1 athlete in the country, and number 18 overall. And that, he, of course, has been the subject of a pretty significant recruiting battle. Long-time target for Shane Beamer. Actually got to know Harbor, first hit Shane Beamer's radar back when he was an assistant at Oklahoma. He actually helped land an offensive tackle from Archbishop Carroll in D.C., where Nicholas Harbor is. And that kind of jump-started this recruitment. As soon as Shane Beamer got the job here in 2020, he started recruiting Harbor. So Maryland, Michigan, another thing to keep your eye on. Jim Harbaugh, NFL jobs.
Carolina Panthers, right?
Carolina Panthers, Denver Broncos, whatever it may be. We'll see. But Maryland, Michigan, South Carolina, all 3 of those programs have drawn an official visit. He does go to Oregon, West, at the end of this month. Track, football, all considerations for Nicholas Harbor. So we'll see where things go. We probably won't know anything until the late signing day in February, maybe a verbal commitment before that. But South Carolina has a good shot. And as you pointed out, Nicholas Harbor paying close attention to that with Spencer Rattler.
And I think we'll find out there were other prospects, players, if you will, that are in the portal potentially. They were probably paying attention to what Rattler was going to do as well. And, man, these guys are more interconnected than they ever have been. So I think they pay attention more than they ever have before to what other guys are doing. So if you're Carolina, is there a running back out there that fits what you're looking at that's saying, wow, they bring back their top receiver, bring back their quarterback? maybe I'm interested in that. Is there another receiver out there in the portal you could go get? I think those are all things to keep an eye on moving forward. Now that the news is official, Spencer Rattler will be back in the Garnet and Black in 2023. We're out of time. We'll be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Appreciate all of you for joining us. Appreciate Firehouse Subs, as always, for being our presenting sponsor. For Chris, I'm Wes. We'll see you tomorrow.
WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia, your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game, a Cumulus media station.
Hey guys, Jay Phillips here for Integrated Media. One of the reasons we all live here in South Carolina is the weather, right? We love being outside as often as we can, and these days, Integrated Media is in